The outside camera is down. Why is it down? Good morning, good morning, good morning. I was here half an hour ago, set it all up, everything was ready, checked the outside camera, checked the inside camera, got my worker ready, got some other work done, and 10 seconds before I flicked it on, the outside camera goes down. Try another video card, input. Excuse me, 1 second. Cables are all okay, everything's good. Switched out a cable. In it goes. On it goes. One sec, let me head outside to the front and unplug it and plug it. Just 1 sec, please. Partway along this cable. Nope, that's okay. In, tight. And we are. Nothing. Nothing. Menu. Menu. Everything is as it should be. My apologies. Something somewhere is funny with the outside camera. It was working fine half an hour ago. No point in fooling around. We have lots of work to do here. I changed the video card, no result. Changed the cable, no problem. No, it's not the internet, it's me. It's the physical camera outside. Seems to be not sending a signal. Now it is. Four minutes late. The world is coming to an end. Solar flares, whatever. Okay, good morning. Thank you very much. That's the the alternate garbage truck for the Korean restaurant down the street. It's a bit quiet this morning. The district is nuts. I mean, you just hear me say the same thing every day. This district here in the middle of October, what we're hearing a number of times now, people come in, if they've never been to Japan before, they're fine. They're whatever. Wow, this is cool. It's vivid district, right? People that have been here before to Japan, they come in and they say, oh my God, I've never seen it like this before. And it's true. We've kind of never seen it like this before. Over by the temple, just whatever. You have to fight your way around. We don't go over there at all if we can possibly help it. But we hear from the guests, they just can't get around. Okay, thank you for joining. It's been a bit mixed up the last few weeks. Today we're going to have a normal, regular stream. It's not going to be carving. My work today, it's been backing up for a couple of weeks. The girls really want me to get busy with this. My work today is going to be with my Kento chisel, but we're not going to be chopping wood. Give me a minute to clear my desk and we'll get started. Someone's saying, do our sales go up too because of the crowds? We are busier than normal, of course, absolutely. It's a question of people coming to Japan. The numbers of people arriving every year, every month just are climbing like crazy. Yesterday, I've got preliminary numbers for it. It's, as far as sales go, it's the third highest day we've ever had in the shop, ever, in all the years since we opened it. And it was just a typical Friday. I say third highest day. The 2 days that were higher were days when there was a special customer, who like brought a truck and stuff like that. So it's probably the highest business day we've ever had that didn't involve a special different customer, just normal people picking up prints. And I don't know what's going to happen this weekend. I really don't know. This is now the peak, the peak. The maple leaves are still not here, but New York Times, if you want stock numbers and stuff, let me know. I missed last week. I was up in Fukui on Saturday, stopped at a convenience store there, and they didn't have the New York paper. What a tragedy. I should have expected that, of course, up in Fukui Prefecture. Out of town. Why would anybody want the New York Times paper or whatever? So I missed it. If you have last Sunday's New York Times Sunday crossword puzzle in an unfinished form that I could see, I'd love to do it. But one person bought the entire shop. No, but we have some among our fans. There are people with a lot of resources, and now and then they come and pick up some prints. Okay, what's on my desk? This will be a show and tell next week. We'll hold this. It's not suitable for today. That'll be a show and tell next week. Oh, this also. This, I'll bring it to you later. Don't have time for it today. It's really, really fun, really interesting. We'll talk about it later. I've got a full slate of show and tell today. Because I haven't been here for a week, 10 days in and out doing normal streams, there's a bunch of show and tell packages here that are built up. This is prints in from Ishikawa-san. She's done a batch. This is still one of our top sellers. And because we're coming into Christmas season, these will be disappearing. So she's giving me a batch of prints here. What else is on the desk? Let's clean up here. Oh, this. I was in Ome, today's Saturday. I was in Ome Wednesday and Thursday talking to the carpenters, the guys. We've ordered some new shelves, some massive some shelves for storing woodblocks out in Ome. In Ome at the moment, the first basement is a sea of woodblocks and cardboard boxes. It looks like the old Don Quixote store before they started to put aisles in. You go in the front door, and it's like the Raiders of the Lost Ark, the warehouse, except, whatever. So B1 in our house is like that, and it's absolute chaos. The girls try and find a woodblock. They can't find it. They've said, Dave, do something about this. For years, they've been saying, do something about this. So we did. I've called in a couple of carpenters. They came a couple of weeks ago to look around. They came Wednesday, and they're now going to prepare a Mitsumori for me. And I gave them the design I want. So a month or so from now, there should be some brand new shelves. We're talking acres of shelves. The woodblocks will go on. The ladies will be happy, and I will be happy ever after. But anyway, being out in Ome, I was thinking, there's a book somewhere there I'd like. So I dug into a couple of cardboard boxes. There's, I'm going to say hundreds. That's not true. There's around 100 unopened boxes of books in my library there. Some of them are marked on the outside Japan. I thought I'd like to see Alan's book, but I can't find it. Tell you what, let's just crack one box and see. I cracked the first box, and it's in there right at the top. So the gods of old boxes of books were shining on me. So I picked it up. Alan Booth's Roads to Sata. You know why, of course, I was interested in seeing this. So on Thursday night, on the way back from Ome, I put it in my backpack, and in the restaurant for dinner, I dipped into it. On the train on the way home, I read it, most of it, and I stayed up a little bit later than I should, finishing it off. And I was really, really astonished by the thing. I remember this book as being one of the things, I read it before I came to Japan. This book was published in whatever it was, 1980, 1985. My printing is 1988. No, I must have bought it in Japan then. Because I was in Japan in 1986. So I must have bought this here. Really, I would have sworn up and down that I read this before coming to Japan. Not so. I read it after coming to Japan. Interesting. Anyway, the reason I'm reading it now, of course, is we've had Jason in with his story. and I was interested to see what this feels like. And I got to tell you, my reaction this time round, it's a dreary book written by a dreary man about a dreary country. If you haven't read this yet and you're thinking of reading it, toss it. It's not worth anything anymore. It's an artifact of the past, of a place that no longer exists, not even remotely. Not even remotely. After 12, 13, 15 pages in, I'm thinking, oh, you got to be kidding me about this. 100 pages in, I'm thinking, come on, give me a break. Alan, smile. There was one tiny episode in the middle of it when he got to Toyama Prefecture where the sun shone. I mean, his mental sun shone. The rest of it is a dreary trudge through a dreary country that no longer exists. Anyway, let's cheer up and let's get some work done. The girls, as I said, the girls have got stacks. They're in the back room. I have over 100 prints they want me to get off, and there's areas of the shop where they're running out of stuff in there. So Watanabe-san is like, really, Dave, I know you're busy, but please get some of these prints cleaned off and sent through to the back room. So yes, Sensei Martian's on this. He was a half-empty guy, and Sensei's a half-full guy. Actually, Alan Booth, going by reading that thing, he was a glass full. I mean, like, every page of that book, I'm not exaggerating, every page of that book, he's drinking and drinking and drinking and drinking and drinking some more. My God. But then, the Japan of 1977, which is what Alan was walking through, we're talking 47 years ago. Jason walked through the Japan of today. Alan was walking through the Japan of 1977, which was half a century ago. And I hadn't really realized that. The country doesn't exist. He walked on dirt roads. He almost never walked on concrete. It was dirt roads all the way. No convenience stores, no modern life, no happy people. They were all people mired in drudgery, the post-war drudgery. Okay, anyway. So we've got to do this. How can we do this? You know the deal. We're going to follow the same pattern we did the other day. Some of these prints I will be able to save, most of them. Some of them I will not be able to save. And I don't have enough tools. 1 second, let me get to the back room, get a couple of tools that I need to do this. 1 second. Yo-sho, yo-sho, yo-sho. I need that, and I need this. Yo-sho, 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 yo-sho. No, not sledgehammers. Okay, I don't know how much we explained what was going on when I did these last week. I did some of this pulling off last week. There's a few publishers involved here. The first group here is from a publisher called Yu-Yu-Do. They were a major publisher of subscription prints through the 1960s, 70s, 80s, maybe even into the 90s. I don't know when they finally gave up. They started by making a very, very high quality ukiyo-e reproductions, and by the end of it, whatever, they were not. This series of prints, it's a series of 30 prints they're reproductions of Utamaro Bijinga, Utamaro beauties, and they shrunk them. And they did them as a set of 30, which I guess you could buy as a set, but they also were subscription prints. They came out two at a time. And you could sign up to get one pack each week, one pack every 2 weeks, one pack every month, whatever. It was your own schedule. And the package came to you with a little bill, and you went to your local post office and you paid the fee through the post office payment system. But the huge problem with these, they didn't think about it at the time. The prints are kind of nicely made, but they glued them all onto just no, like look at this, what we're seeing here, the print is glued on by the edges, and there it is. There's the one that was behind it. There's it's not a foxing, it's some kind of toning, transfer, oily mark. I don't even know what it is. The prints have to come off here, but they've been in there on these sheets of paper, cardboard, for like half a century. And there's two ways to get them, well, there's 2 or 3 ways to get them off. We could put this whole thing underwater. We could soak it in water, wait until the glue softened, and or wait until the backboard softens, because the washi paper is inherently stronger than all the other parts of the package. They didn't use some kind of epoxy glue. It was probably just maybe rice powder or something like that. So by putting these in water, the print does eventually come clear of all the other crap, and then you press it and dry it. But that takes a huge long time. And these prints are really honestly not worth that much money. They didn't sell for much at the time. And even in our shop here, these prints, the clean, good copies, will sell for about 5,000 yen, which is about, what, 32 bucks or something like that. So we can't spend hours of staff time taking care of these things. Not for a print that's going to sell for $30. We can't do it. We've got to blow them through as quickly as we can. This is just bare basic economics. So here they are. What they've done they've put the ones on my desks that they were unable to remove from the packaging safely. And as I said, there was 3 ways to do it. One is to soak them off. We're not going to do that. Second is I can get my knife and I can physically cut them apart from the backboard. And you'll see that with a couple of them that are going to come up. There's a third way, which we sometimes get lucky. If they have made the print with enough paper at the edge, then we can trim without damaging anything. Now look at this one. The registration was over here. Look at this. This is the mark where the paper went into the registration. They didn't take care about cleaning these up. They just didn't care. That side's registration. Here we are. There's some more pigment registration, but the border line here is about 5 millimeters. Border line at the bottom is about 5 millimeters. Over on the left-hand side here, where this is glued down, can you see it? There's the glue. The border is quite wide. So I am lucky here on this one. I can trim this one without having to worry about digging it off the border. I can simply, don't get upset. I'm not destroying some old print. I am carefully here trimming away from the glue, and we now have a completely clear, free print saved from its backboard, ready to go. And it's been on there for 50x years, and it is now thinking, oh my God, at last I'm free of that. Liberated. Somebody's got the word. Liberated. Yes. Now, I didn't prepare carefully. I've got nowhere to put these things. So what should I do? What should I do? Just a second. Okay, they gave me an extra folder here. Let's put them on this folder inside here. And the staff will now, this is now garbage, of course. The staff will now take these prints, prep them carefully, and put them in the shop. And that print will be about, as I said, I think it's 5,000 yen, maybe 4,500 yen. They will be doing that. And these are a bunch of them here. And this same one, maybe we can get away with the same thing. Yes and no. Look at this. It's stuck in the middle. A drop of glue got into the middle. Face down, fingers tight, pop it off. Liberated. Now, it's still glued at the edge. God, the lady that did this one smeared glue all over the place. Give me a break, unknown lady in 1960. There we are. They just didn't care. They had no sense that people would be looking at these things with any sense of respect or value. It's even worse. Back in the old days, back in the Edo time, people got the prints in the Edo time and they just stuck them up on the wall, glued them up on small screens, scrumpled them up, played with them. They had no respect for this stuff. This is the nicest one in this. Oh, what? Wait. Look at this. What's happening here? A mystery. Okay, look. We're going to change gears here. We have to take this one off the backing board. But before I do, look at this. Can you figure? Okay, I got to explain what's going on. Let's just grab another one just for the norm. Here, okay. Just a minute. Okay, what we've got here, colors. That's the background color of the print. That's the paper, right? And that's the backing board. So you see what's happening. These are prints with a margin on a backing board. Got it? You've seen me take off 2 of them already. Look at this one. What are we seeing here? 1, 2, 3, 4 colors. What is going on? There's the backing board. There is the paper, not white. There is white paper, and there is inside. Okay, there's the registration marks. The paper itself seems to have been that's the margin of the paper. Inside the paper we have some whitish tone, and inside that we have a darker tone. And they're faintly reflected on the backing board. That's the paper color, the outside margin. The paper color is what we see on her face. That's the outside margin. This is lighter. And this is one of those prints that has a speckled, colorful paste on the background. But then inside it, we have a square of darker, deeper color. I don't know what's happened here. Anyway, later. So, somebody's saying face to face. I mean, we get things that are stacked up here, or there could have been an explanation sheet put inside here, but it makes no sense that the margin paper would be darker than the border of the print. That's going to need some investigation later on. Nothing I can do with it right now. Let's keep going. Well, this first group is all going to be a piece of cake. They're just going to trim off instead of undoing the glue. There's lots more coming here. I've got a stack. They've given me hundreds of these things. This first group is going to be dead easy. This same group of prints from Yudo, it's interesting. They were published, as I said, from many number of years, from the 60s through the 70s and on. And we have in the collection upstairs examples. We will have the same print from the series, and I will have 5 or 6 examples of the same thing, showing different blocks. And what they did was, as a subscription series was going along, if it was successful and still selling, what did they do when the blocks wore out? They simply recarved. They carved another set of blocks for the same print. And the last time I checked on this, we have, for that series, at one point, we have 6 different visible designs for the prints. So the subscription series was so successful that they carved the whole damn set The whole thing, key blocks, color blocks, the whole thing, it was carved at least 6 times. And this would have been the case too back in the Edo time. Something that was successful, the Great Wave or whatever, once the blocks were so badly beaten up that they couldn't print even a grotesque copy anymore, they would just recarve it. So there's no way at this point anybody can tell what is an original or what is a recut, or whether it was a recarve made by a copyist or the original publisher or whatever. Now, this next group, this is a strange group of prints. These have been on Yahoo auction here for the past few weeks. Somebody had got a set of prints that featured episodes in the life of the priest Nichiren. And he had broken the set up, the dude, put them on Yahoo auction, and he put them up for, I think they were 3,500 yen each or something. But it wasn't a complete set. So anybody who wanted to buy this set was out of luck. I'm sure he knew there was like 50 prints. If you put them up as a set, nobody's going to be able to pay thousands of dollars. So this happens all the time. So by the time I found out about this, the set had been up on Yahoo auction, and the highlight episodes from Nichiren's life, the one where he's walking in the snow, all that sort of stuff, those were gone. So what do I do now? There's some interesting prints on auction, a set, but not the whole thing, and priced kind of too high. So I did nothing. Let it go, let it go, let it go. And the system on Yahoo auction is that if something doesn't sell, it can disappear from the auction. But the guy could have a button, click the button that says, if it gets to the end of the time period and doesn't sell, just it opens it up again. So these things went round and around and around and around. And at some point, he figured they're not going to sell, so he started to drop the price. And me, and I guess everybody else who was watching, just said, still too expensive, still too expensive. Last week, finally, he decided, okay, I guess I got to get rid of these things. And he dropped the price really quite low. Now, it's a broken set. I would have been interested in the whole thing as a historical archive. That's fine. But now they're gone. By now, a third of them are gone. So Watanabe-san, we bid on them. And we picked up, maybe we've got now about half of this set. Now, there's no point to us now trying to do it as a set and see if we can hunt around and find the missing ones. Never going to happen. So the ones that we've got now are going to be liberated from their packaging and put into the shop one by one, people that would have an interest in the priest Nichiren and his history of Buddhism in Japan. We really feel badly about this. You know, we would never tear up a book and take the pages one by one in the shop. Someone's saying this artist made 2 versions of Nichiren's life. I don't know the history. I know that many, many, many different artists over the years have made versions of episodes in Nichiren's life. I don't even know who the artist on this one is. I wasn't myself so interested in this. My job now, Watanabe-san has given this to me, is, Dave, please liberate these prints from the terrible paper because we have foxing here and there. This one doesn't seem so bad. Look, this next one here is an example. Look at this. Here we are. Oh, it's this paper. It's the cellophane paper that has become foxed, transferring to the background sheet, but not in the area where the print is. So, Neidhart, if you know more about this, please let us know, because I myself haven't looked into this at all. All I know is that we've ended up now with a few scraps of a set to let free out into the world. And I don't even know how badly they're glued down. Let's see. It's thin paper. It's difficult. It's on a thick, ugly cardboard. The paper is thin, and they're glued down quite a long way in. This is not going to be trivial. Let's give this a try. So again, we've got a semi-dull knife here. This is not a ridiculously sharp blade. It's got a nice edge, but it's not ridiculously sharp. You can see it's been dulled. I scraped it on a piece of sandpaper like this to take the edge off it. People might get upset about treating tools like that, but no, the tool is to do a certain job. And we've now got to find the glue spot. There it is. And keeping the chisel down, what I'm going to do, it's going to be under the print. You can't see it. I'm not cutting up. I'm going to slice down like this into the backing paper. I'm going to try and do it in a place where I can't see. So we now have the print. We've liberated a portion of the backing sheet. We've destroyed the backing sheet, which I don't care about at all. It's just a piece of cardboard. Let's get the other side. Okay, there we go. Neidhart's got some information. Okay, good. Jen Neidhart's on, do you know what this is? Is this the earlier version or the 50s? Going by the foxing and stuff, I would just, my first guess would be an earlier version, but I really don't know. The paper's not all that old. Maybe it's 1950s, perhaps. I don't know, I'm sorry. This was all new to me. And now, because the backing sheet is weak paper, we can get it off the washi. It just crumbles away. Bingo. Washing. Oh, that's chili. That's a huge lump of chili inside the paper. I'm not going to touch that. That would make a hole. That's nothing to do with me, that one. There it is. It's free. The prints themselves, they're nothing that I myself wouldn't get excited about. They're a clumsy, clunky style. If this had been old ukiyo-e prints, the lines would have a nice, soft taste. But what they've tried to do, because it's 20th century, they're trying to make it real. Realism comes into play. So instead of being the formalized, stylized ukiyo-e type drawing, it's a realistic type drawing. And to me, it just doesn't make any sense. Trying to do an ukiyo-e type print with a mood and a feeling of the old days, but make it realistic. I'm sorry, this doesn't float my boat at all. And it's not just a religious subject. Even if this wasn't religious, I wouldn't be finding this interesting at all. They've gone to a ton of work for this. My guess is the market for this at the time, maybe they sold them through temples or something. So it was people who were maybe subscribing to this series one a week or something, or maybe they bought the whole package by donating to the temple. I know nothing about the background. But it would have been a sort of a captive market, people who were willing to pay more for something because it had a deep meaning for them. They wanted to study the life of Nichiren and stuff. But for me, there's no interest for me in this one. Technically, there's no interest for me in the subject matter. Although there are people, I guess, who would find something important here. Neidhart says, I have an incomplete version of the first set. So is this the second set, sir? He thinks, he assumes. Okay. Again, how much time we should spend on things like this, we really don't know. There is the idea, and some of the staff here is thinking this way, there is the idea that we shouldn't even try and save these things. We shouldn't even try and get them off the backing board. Just drop the price as low as we can and put them out on an as-is basis. But we have mixed feelings about this, knowing that this thing is going to decay much more quickly because it's on these terrible packaging. I don't know, do I have a sense of responsibility to get them off this paper, or should we just close my eyes, nothing to do with me, out she goes? I don't know. Do we have some action happening out in the street? I don't know. I missed it, sorry. Was it somebody walking a dog? I don't know, I didn't see. Should I check on somebody? Somebody's in trouble? Hang on one sec. He seems okay, and there are some stone seats just off to the right-hand side. There's 3 or 4 stone seats just in front of the next shop, just past the Kobe beef shop. And he just as I was out there, he was lowering himself onto one of these seats. Just an elderly old man. He waved me off. I'm okay. He didn't say anything, just he waved me off. Okay. Yeah, it's the printing, it's the story about this is apocryphal, I'm sure. There's a story, maybe it's real, I don't even remember where I heard this. This is an apocryphal story. There's 2 guys walking along a beach somewhere, it's evening, and there's a moon shining, and there's this tide coming in and whatever. And they notice that something's happening with a bunch of fish. Along the beach, as far as they can see, there's billions of these little fish like this that have been sort of stranded. The high tide has come up, and then the water's gone down, and these fish are all flopping, trying to get back into the sea. And as far as they can see, there's millions of them. And one guy runs into this, he grabs fish, he starts throwing little fish. One at a time, he's throwing them back into the sea, And his friend says, what are you doing? There's freaking 10 million of these. It doesn't matter. And the guy says, it sure matters to this one. And he throws fish back into the sea. Oops, do I care about the content for this? I don't know. Is this from the Legend of Zelda, the Triforce? I don't know. I really don't know. I'm sorry. I know nothing about the content of this. Episodes from the life of Nichiren. Do I really care about this? Oh, no, I don't. But whatever. The girls have just told me, Dave, release these prints. So today, while I'm in the shop, I have to release these prints. That's all. Which one is Link? I should put this picture into our poison defense file. I don't know if I should talk about this. I don't know. I think it's okay to talk about it. Years ago, when Jed and I started the Ukiyo-e Heroes series, would Dave know what Zelda is if it wasn't for Jed? No. But back when we started the Ukiyo-e Heroes project, we felt we were okay. I mean, we've talked about this general concept many times. We knew we were using thematic material that was, of course, reliant on video game characters. But we also knew that we were using it in a very generic way. And, you know, like I said, we've said before, the legal aspect to our Ukiyo-e Heroes series and the moral aspect to our Ukiyo-e Heroes series are perhaps two different things. We're not quite sure what the legal aspect is, fair use or not, we don't know. But the moral aspect to our Ukiyo-e Heroes, we don't feel that we were hurting the game companies in any way. But when we did our Kickstarter campaign back in 2012, we weren't really sure. Were the game companies, or was that particular game company going to come after us? We didn't know. If they had come after us, of course, we would have just simply, that's all, nothing we can do, we would have folded. But Jed and I, at the time, we also prepared a poison defense file. And I think it's okay to talk about it. And that last print, actually, if we had known about this print at the time, that print would have gone into our poison defense file. And what I mean is, like corporations and shares or something, when they're worried about being taken over by somebody else, they have like poison pills or whatever. There's certain shares. Whatever. Anyway, so there's things you can do that make it difficult for people to be a predator. And what could Jed and I do that would make it difficult for a game company to be a predator for us? Well, we collected a bunch of images and objects that showed what they call prior art. Well, for example, suppose that game company who's publishing the Zelda, suppose they went after somebody and said, you can't use that Triforce, that's our object. Then the person they were fighting, if they could show that, I'm sorry, Triforce existed as a thing well before you took it, it's called prior art. Now, in this case, there it is. This thing was published, and that particular symbol goes back a long way in Japanese history. So the game company really is on weak ground when they're trying to tell somebody you can't use that thing. Now, maybe the word Triforce could be a copyright, a trademark thing, but the symbol itself, they're out of luck because prior art has protected the person using it. And Jed and I have in our files a quite thick, nice fat list of images, collection of images of prior art for a great many aspects of the prints that we have been parodying over the years. An old Chinese sculpture of a creature with turtle spikes on its back and a lion mane that dates from like 3000 BC, stuff like this. Prior art. Let me go check on our buddy outside. One sec. That's me one day, I guess, you know. I guess that's me. Okay, these things go on endlessly. Let's switch topics. I still have to do this, but let's switch topics. I mean, themes. She's given me those Utamoto beauties. There's these Nichiren prints. They've also given me a bunch of nature prints. These are from Takamizawa. These were also a subscription series. And my God, I have no numbers on here. I mean, the quantity, I don't know the quantity. But based on what we see in the dealer auctions, and even out there on Yahoo Auction, they come up quite frequently there as well. There's no, I'll say this without qualification, there is no time in the dealer auction on the second Thursday, on the auction there, when we don't see the Takamizawa set of 12 nature prints. They must have published literally many thousands of these sets. I think it started in the early 1960s. It was a set of 12 prints they did based on Hiroshige Tanzaku, slightly reduced from the original versions. And they must have sold literally thousands of them. So I was talking about sending a message to Cameron. Someone sent a question to orders@mokuhankan.com a week ago and didn't see a reply. That address goes to our staff members, and they deal with, at the moment they're kind of flooded because we did a promotion last week and there's a huge amount of orders. So if your email needed a reply quickly, where's my tracking number? They would do it quickly. If your email was just asking about something vague, it's maybe just still in the inbox. What were you asking about, sir? Trogdor the Meminator. Give me a hint. If you ask me now, maybe we can answer it now. I don't know. Naomi-san is busy. Very, very busy. In fact, that brings to mind another thing to mention here. The Mokuhankan staff here, we're having a major, in Japanese we call it meeting. We're having a meeting in mid-late November. And all the staff members who are, everybody but the shop staff, not the casual people who work one day a week in the shop, but all the people who are involved in the running of the business at different levels. We're having an all-day, all-hands meeting. We've booked the restaurant across the street. We've closed them out. We've hired the whole restaurant across the street for the lunch, and we're going to have an all-day meeting. And it's going to be a meeting about the future of Mokuhankan, trying to figure out who we are, what we are doing, why we are doing it, where we are going, and who's going to be doing it and who's going to be running it. We're going to try and do a multi-year plan. Maybe I'm thinking a 3-year plan, something like this. Oh, someone's saying it wasn't urgent. So in fact, it's probably still sitting in the box. I'm sorry. So. Yeah, it's going to be a discuss the future and try and help organize the future of Mokuhankan, that kind of meeting. I tried something similar about 5 years ago. The business was much, much smaller back then. And the meeting wasn't successful. I was trying to build an environment where the people who were working for us would want to become involved in the business financially. This was when I was still Kojinjigyo, still a private company. And I got pretty much a no reaction from all the people who were working for me at that time. They didn't want to get involved in being a shareholder, that kind of a thing. So that fell flat. Here we are now 4.5, 5 years later, and we're in the same position. I am the sole owner. I'm still healthy, I'm okay. But you saw the guy walk by outside, you know, that's me in X years. We know this is coming, and we have to figure something out. And it's time to figure it out before I get to look like that. And Japan doesn't have an easy kind of structure. What are they called in the West? ESOPs? ESOP, is that the name for it? Employee Stock Option Program. Those things don't exist per se here in Japan. The culture, I guess, just doesn't want it. And I get that, because last time I tried the idea, every single one of the employees, no exceptions, said no. So I don't really know if that's going to be a suggestion this time around. I don't know. Someone's asking about my kids. My kids have their own affairs. They have their own business. They know nothing about publishing woodblock prints. They have a very successful business of their own, much larger than mine. And my kids' only request to me is, Dad, sort this out before you have a stroke or something, you know. Because the last thing my daughters want is a phone call. Get over here. Hello, Humi, your dad died last night. You now have 30 employees. You know, I mean, my kids do not want that situation. So, sell shares to Twitch chat. Well, the whole question of going public, of course, I mean, companies do go public, but it's a vast, complicated thing. We can't do that. We have nowhere near the capital level, or I mean, selling shares brings you capital, but it doesn't matter. Having capital won't help us. Our problems don't stem from a lack of capital. We have actually good access to money. Our problems, such as they are, stem from lack of human resources and the fact that it's a key man business. That's why the employees are reluctant to invest in it, because without specifically saying something like this to me, they were thinking, why would I invest in Mokuhankan? At one point, Dave will pass on, and the employees will be the owners. But with Dave not here, is this really a viable business? And that's the open question. That's the open question. Once I'm out of here, is this a viable business or not? Oh, this one's going to get rejected. Look at this. Ho, ho, ho. Ho, ho, ho. Can you see what's wrong with it? Look at this. Here's a hint. Boom. Where did the problem come from? It came from both. It's not the pigments, because it's in the paper in an area where there were no pigments. So it's not something pigment. It's perhaps not even coming from the oil on the back of the barren, because that wouldn't rub the outside of the paper here. Maybe it was in the sizing, because the fact that it's all over the paper, not just the parts that are printed, Dave's first amateur guess would say there was something in the sizing that caused this later reaction when the paper came in contact with this backboard. And it varies depending on the amount of pigment that's in the paper and or the amount of rubbing that was done. The barren would really rub strongly in this area. Maybe it left oil, which exacerbated this. the place here where there's a green pigment on the front, and that particular location comes up a little bit protected. Here it's deep and strong. There's a little blue-gray-green pigment there, and it made it worse here. So something to do with the pigments, but not just about the pigment, because here it is where there's no pigments. And this has all been wrapped up. Someone's talking about light transmission. This has not been hung up this way. We did see one before first. I know what you're thinking about. We had one where there was clearly a negative, positive, negative thing happening. This, unless I'm very, very wrong on this, this is nothing to do with light transmission. In fact, what I'm going to do actually, for the sake of research, because this particular print is unsaleable anyway, I'm going to leave this on its backboard. And this is going to go into our little research drawer upstairs. We've got a drawer with many, many, many examples like this, which have this kind of variety, and that could be useful to somebody researching this topic. So this one I am not going to pull off the backboard. We're going to keep it like it is. The same image, we have the same image in our shop because we have many, 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 many copies of this. It's a saksa, of course, I think it's called Kinryuzan in the rain. It's the old Saksa temple with Sensoji and with the pagoda on the riverside. These days it's been moved over. So we have the same design in the shop. How's our time? 8:58. What have we got to do? We have a show and tell, a nice, 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 wonderful old print show and tell. So remind me at 9:15 or so. We'll do that. It's possible some prints were more acidic than others. It's not only possible, it's almost certain that that's going to be a factor here. Socks removed, I don't know. They're going to be interesting prints, but it's not a once in a lifetime. I don't want to play the sock card too often. If you play the sock card every week, it just gets to be meaningless. The prints we're going to show, I'm very happy to have got them, and they are nicely made prints, I hope. They could be damaged from age, I don't know. But I think socks are okay. We'll see, we'll see, we'll see. I don't want to overplay the sock card. Having said that, that little envelope, where was it? That little envelope I showed? I said there's a show and tell coming later this week or something. A little envelope I had, a white envelope. I can't find it now. That's for some socks. I don't know where it went. We'll talk about socks then, but today, no. I've already lost that envelope. I don't know where it is. sometimes we get this same set, this Takamizawa nature set. We get them and they have like literally not been opened in all the years since they were published, you know. And you can see the set comes in, it's musty, it's dusty, the strings. And sometimes the whole set is completely unrecoverable. Now this one is completely okay. This is a normal piece of paper, washi paper. You know the strength test I do when I'm showing in these videos. I take a piece of washi and I, you know the thing I do, right? I curl it up like this, I roll it up, and I do this, and and you can't tear it. This print, I'm not going to do this with a print, but if I took this print down, sliced it down, and I twisted, it would be like this, because it still has that inherent strength in the washi. But now and then, we get one of these sets that has been unopened for 50, 60 years. It's on a piece of backboard that would be maybe particularly acidic, and the whole paper, the whole sheet has become so bathed in the acids from that thing that it has become brittle. And next time we see this, maybe I'll try and set one aside so I can show you in the stream. And what it would do is if I picked up one of those prints like that, and if I went like this, the corner would break off. It would just go pakung, and we'd have a straight line and the corner would break, because the paper, all the mulberry had become so brittle from the acidic. And then if I went like this, and rubbed it up with my hands, we would have a pile of brown dust. We have these sometimes, we get prints like that. We open it and we know, oh my God, what can I do? If I touch this, it will turn into brown dust. Now it's not that they're like, oh my God, quick, take a picture before you touch it, because it's just another copy of the same print. There's nothing valuable, there's no information that needs to be restored. It's not like a papyrus scroll from 5000 BC, which you touch it, it turns to dust. You want to try and catch the information first. We're not talking about that level, but it's that kind of a thing. What should we do with those? Whatever, nothing we can do with it. We avoid buying them wherever possible, looking from the photographs. But they're out there. Domo, arigatou gozaimasu. Kubota-san kara? Oh, good news! Yay, yay, thank you, thank you. I'm not sure. I guess I can tell you. It's good news. It's good news, bad news. It's good news, good news, good news. Kubota-san, you know the deal. Well, okay, let's save it, because maybe I'll open it before we do show and tell. Kubota-san, he loves us so much. You know, he's so happy that we're here to be working with us. He wants to work a little bit. But he's retired. He's 76, 77. He doesn't want to do any heavy, hard work. He doesn't want anything that would be drudgery. He doesn't want anything that causes him physical. Oh my God, can I do this? You know, he's retired. He's done all the big stuff, the 99 color stuff, the 500 copies stuff. He's done it all. What he wants now is peaceful, light work for his retirement. And this is what we give him. We're happy to give him the blocks and say just 60 copies. In the old days, he would never have made anything less than like 200 copies. It was a normal. Hitotaba with 200 copies is the normal, unless it was like some limited edition art print Adachi was doing or whatever. So for him, the fact that we'll say, only say, yeah, sure, 60, that's fine by us. The blocks won't wear out. So he can get his happiness, he can get his money, he can enjoy printing, enjoy being useful to society without heavy, hard drudgery. The prints in the box there, I asked him to do 160 copies. And we're on the phone. And I knew where the conversation was going to go, so I knew this was okay. So I gave him, it was a bad news, good news, which he didn't know. I said, Kubota-san, something like this. I'm going to make up the conversation with something like this. Kubota-san, I've got the next job for you, and it's all ready, but I know you're feeling recently, you don't want stuff that's too large or stuff that's too many copies, but the next one I want to send you, we need 160 copies. At the other end, there's silence, because there's he can't say no to Dave. He can't say no. I'm the publisher. I send the things. He's a craftsman. His job is just to do it. He can't say no. But there's silence because I know he wants to say no, and I'm just laughing in my mind all over the place. So how much to hold this guy on the hook before I put him out of his misery? There's no evilness here. So I said, "Come on, 160 desu nga, but please relax, please relax. It's only a few colors, one, and they're very small prints, another one, and the registration is not super tight." Good morning, Saturday morning. How are you doing? Stripes today.
Yeah, sleepy.
It's Sadako-san, ready for her weekend shift here. So. Anyway, the point of the story is, what I've asked Kubota-san to do is, he's done a batch of the Patreon chibis. And we needed them desperately because we are a bit behind schedule. It's now October. The chibis come in two forms, summer and winter, and we've got to get the summer ones out of here like it's October. So rather than ask one of our printers, do me a batch of 5060, do another batch of 5060, we just asked Kubota-san, can you finish this off for us? I think I gave it to him on Thursday. Here it is Saturday. Boom. And he's so happy. Once he realized what it was, he was so happy. For him, it's easy money and no stress. So the last group of people in line for the Patreon chibis this year are going to get one made by Kubota-san. Yeah, let me open it in a minute. It's a bit too early. Anyway, let me get there. I'll open it for you in a second. At an earlier stage in his career, it would have been different. He would have been insulted to be asked to do this. This is beginner's work. A decent person who is handy, you could take a person off the street, if they're handy, you could train them in this printing, and if you did the backup for them, getting them water moisture ready, a beginner could do this job. A good handyman beginner could do this. So it's a bit insulting to ask Kubota to do it, but he was happy, happy, happy. Sadako, do you remember a few weeks ago, I don't remember this, but there was a young man in the shop, one of our Twitch viewers, and he was heading out to Matsumoto.
I'm so sorry.
He was asking us for advice on things to do and things to see, and I guess Sadako made a recommendation for him, something to do about things. I don't remember, but we've got here from...
yeah, I opened a web page.
Whatever the
listing several nice
okay,
spots.
he's here. Please tell Sadako-san her website recommendation was very useful for Matsumoto. And a heart mark. So you have a new boyfriend here, so whatever. So.
New boyfriend. Wonderful.
Someone saying, did I fix the maps regarding restaurants? Yes, I did. On the website at the moment, the new map is up there. The new PDF file is up there. And what I didn't realize that during the course of the last stream, we talked about the restaurant map. Today's Saturday, that would have been Thursday. Before the stream was over, somebody listening had already fixed and repaired the Google links to the Google map. And that link is now on the webpage, mokuhankan.com/Asakusa. There's a link there that clicks you to a Google playlist with all of our restaurant recommendations in Asakusa. I don't know who that was, who did this. If you're here today, thank you very much for your help last Thursday. You click it and it takes you to a Google map with a playlist. You roll them all over. Your directions are there. Everything is there. I did not do that part of it. So thank you. Whoever it was, thank you. And it was before the stream was over. Yeah, Bottle Pirate. Is that the name? Yes, I think that sounds familiar. I think that's who it was. Bottle Pirate. Somebody with more Google chops than I have, absolutely. So thank you, sir. If you're here today, thank you. And to the future people who make use of that map, from those people, thank you. Yeah, I recall someone saying, give me 20 minutes, and I think it didn't take 20 minutes, whatever. Okay, let's look at some of those prints. Let's put the knives away. Let's look at some prints. Man, I got crap all around the desk. Okay. There's our official show and tell, but before we get to show and tell, let me hit Kubota-san.
I'm sorry.
Nani? No. It's okay, no problem. No problem. The postman bought it just a few minutes ago. Oh, I think there are too. I think there are orders to pull there.
Okay.
I hope after that lead up about the Patreon chibis, I hope that's what's in here, because Kubota-san does do multiple jobs for us at the same time. And it's possible that I'm overlooking something, and maybe this is the result from the previous job. I don't know, now that I've given you the lead up story. Anyway, let's just see.
Only one order.
I think there's two prints, I think. I don't know, I'm not sure. It isn't the Patreon chibis, it's the order before. I gave you the wrong story. Oh well, anyway. Soka. Kubota-san's doing two jobs at the same time. I thought these were Patreon chibis. Can you take this out of the way? Thank you very much. So false alarm on the chibis. That's coming in any other day. Doesn't matter though. He's made something else for us. It's noisy when I pull this off. Excuse me. Well, let's get him later, Sadako. It's okay. Don't worry. Just too noisy for now. Right. Oi, thank you. I was telling him about Kubota-san. Sometimes we give him...
Get some scissors.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It'll open. I was telling him about Kubota-san, and we sent him the Patreon chibis, and he was really happy to get that because it's such an easy job. But one reason why I gave him such an easy job was because the job before that, this one, was a difficult job and one that he doesn't want to do. But he can't, he can't refuse. He's a gentleman and a craftsman. He can't refuse. And if every week I gave him these jobs that he doesn't want, he would retire completely. But I have to put them in sometimes. He didn't want to do this. Absolutely, he didn't want to do this. And here they are. We've been out of stock on this for like half a year. It's such high demand. So we only have this about 1 month out of 6. These will disappear in minutes in the shop. There's about 60 copies here, and they'll last like 3 or 4 or 5 days. And then it'll be out again for 6 months until I can ask somebody else to do it. It's so simple, but it's so difficult. One thing, before I forget, just let me write now in the background, let me go to my browser. I got to turn this on. Now that I know they're here, 1 sec, it's going to take me a second here. Do you know the catalog numbers, Sadako? You don't know.
Catalog numbers of what?
Of this one, yeah.
I can check.
Thank you. Kono tori kana? I got it, 272. Thank you. I beat you to it. Thank you. The show?
I saw this. Stalking rain.
Hi. Printed by Kubota. It's now getting turned on. Okay. Somebody else has got it. The chat says it's number 272. All right. Who's this? Mika-san. I should just, all the things that I'm having trouble with organizing, I should just outsource it to the chat. Outsource my life to a Twitch chat. He's done another gorgeous job. This is so difficult. It's so difficult to get good, rich black without slamming the thin lines. And he can't make the paper super flat in a press because there's embossing in the middle of the stork. What he would want to do is what's called urabaren. Put the paper down on a backboard, rub like crazy to make it flat, and that makes printing the black easier. But you can't do that with this print because we need embossing in the middle of it. Another magnificent home run from Kubota-san. I tell you, they talk about Otani. Kubota-san just steps up to the plate and hits a home run every damn time. Experience, experience, experience. Okay. Too much going on. This has been waiting here for weeks. I've been up in Fukui and all that kind of stuff. How many layers? Place your bets. These are interesting. These are they're reproductions. It's a Hiroshige design, Hiroshige set. And a reproduction set I've never seen before. And it looks like it's from late Meiji, going by the packaging. It might not pull off yet. No, I've got to cut more. Hang on. Yep. Let me cut more. There's so much tape, we can't recycle the plastic. Thank you. That plastic, they're counting layers. Does that plastic count as a separate layer? I don't know. Cardboard. So that's one layer, 2 layers. Is this the 3rd layer? I don't really know how to count these. There's layer 3. We have even more plastic. I gotta be careful because I think that's the product. Yes, that's your last layer. This is now the product. It doesn't count. Ichiryu Sai Hiroshige, Meisho Edo Hyakke, Dai Ichi Maki janai. It's package number 1, the first group, but I don't recognize it. It sometimes says Daishu collection number 1 or Daiichi Maki volume number 1. Or it'll say Jochuge. I have no idea.
I have never seen
The meaning is clear. It's from Hiroshige. The series is the famous views of 100 views of Edo, and it's the group number 1, but I don't know the kanji. And the fact that a very highly educated, top university Japanese person doesn't know it also lets me off the hook. Not yet. This says, can somebody else read it? Can you one-up us? She's going to grab her computer. She's going to look it up. Come on, show us up. Silence.
That's unusual.
They're all inputting it into their kanji dictionaries. So I have not a clue what it is. Okay. According to the auction, there's 17 sheets in here. Now that means some are going to be missing because there's no way that they would have made a collection of 17. The full set is, I think, 116 prints. How many they reproduced in this group, I don't know. But group number 1 would have maybe 20. Group number 2 would have 20, something like that. The auction guy said there's 17. So this is a broken set of a broken set. Some of the prints are loose. Some are mounted on backboards, and some of them, according to the photographs, whoa, look at this. Some of them have seen better days. This one must have been on the top of the pile. Look at that. This would have been on the bottom of the pile. This would have been on the top of the pile. So oxygen, air can expose dust. This is physical dirt. This has been sitting on a shelf. It's sitting on a shelf somewhere. And the top one would get dirt and dust. The bottom one would be well protected. They are quite nicely made. Late Meiji. I'm going to stick my neck out. Late Meiji. It's possible they're Taisho, possible they're early Showa. Going by the pigments, I'll stick my neck out and say late Meiji. I don't know. The originals would have been oban size, you know, the normal large size. These have been shrunk down to about 1/8 of the surface area. They're kind of nicely made. Your socks are safe. You know, I didn't promise socks off. They're kind of nicely made. The colors are a little bit brittle and hard. You know, we can go back to this topic. We've talked about this quite a few times in recent months, about these reproductions as opposed to the originals. They are cut very cleanly. They're printed with good registration. They're sort of made, quote, better than the originals. But the men by this era had lost sense of balance. And the color balance. There's too much deep pigment there. The prints themselves don't balance within each print. This one is sort of okay. Huh?
This is a bad
No,
registration.
it's bad carving. This is horinuki. And maybe we've got some horinuki here. My guess, and again, I don't have the original in front of me for comparison, this is what we call horinuki. We have a situation here where there's no outline. For example, this yellow box, there's an outline. So the carver carved the yellow color block to fit inside the outline. He carved the sky block to fit outside the outline. But in a place where there is no outline, you've got to either overlap them very slightly. And that's what's been done here. See this? The greeny blue of the sky overlaps the gray of the stacks of wood. That's called kasane, stacking on top of each other. Or you do what's called kenuki awase. You try and make color A and color B hit together so tightly so that there's no room for a hair to be pulled between them. Kenuki awase. And that would be what we see right here. The gray and the blue match just pinpoint perfectly. And then we have a few spaces here where it's white, and this is horinuki. There's a place that's missing. The wood should be there, but the carver has manuku. He's pulled away too much wood.
What do you think about this here?
Well, again, without comparison to the original, I think that's the same thing. I think there's no way that water should have a white streak. The water should have come up a bit higher, and this also would be, I think, horinuki. It could be part of the design, but I don't have the original in front of me. Same thing here. Look at this. There's no way this guy would be white. There's a little white dot there. There's a little white thing on this thing here. I think this is just the carver, maybe an apprentice got his hand in here, or they were just doing so many prints. I don't know. Sadako, somebody has a hint about the previous kanji. Can you see here? She's going to try. I'll come around here. I don't know if you can see. If I can make it bigger here.
Which
Here.
Ah, kanji ne. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
kuruma on the left-hand side, kuchi on the top right-hand side, and mimi on the bottom.
Yeah.
Is that what? Where's the?
Yeah, that's a kanji.
Where did I put it? Oh, did we step on it? No.
I'm sorry.
No. What did I do with it?
I don't know.
Did I give it to you?
I'm sorry.
You took it.
Yeah, that's the kanji.
That's the kanji. Gather, collect, compile. Pronunciation? I have no idea.
I can't find the kanji.
Thank you very much. Who's the helper? Golden egg. Oh no, chocolate egg 4. I can't pronounce your name. YSMXXXXX. Thank you very much for your help on that. And being better than me is no joke at all, but pulling off better than Sadako. We've got this thing. So. It's funny too, this one. Once the prints get toned and aged and dirty, they look much better. You know, the ones that are clean and white, we see this. The coloring is just wrong. The stripiness there, it's just too, it's not correct. There's no way any Edo era printer would have done this. A light one and a dark one. It just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. They've so carefully made these things, and then they just didn't have a sense of how they should look. But even when you do it badly, when you make it so dirty and so, it comes up okay at the end of the day. So as I said, your socks are safe. It's a nice set. It's pleasant. I paid, I guess, too much for it. I paid more than Nima yen for these 17 prints, knowing how old they were.
But this part is quite well done.
Well, it's not a tragedy. I mean, they are. When I saw them on the auction, I decided to bid for them because they looked like they were a decent set. I'm just criticizing one aspect of it. You know, the printing is too hard and brittle. But they are unusual prints. But definitely I paid too much for them. Absolutely. If I'd have had a chance to see them close up, I paid more than Nima yen. In fact, maybe Neinhardt-san probably bid for this, and I outbid him.
Kiri no hana da.
Okay, there's 17 of them. If we divide the money I paid per sheet, and we'll be able to put them into the shop, you know. Again, we have here, it's a broken set. We have no hesitation, no compunction. When we get time, I will try and take these off the backboards, release them from that prison. Maybe one or two of them I might be able to wash a little bit, and we'll put them in the shop.
Quite well done.
They are, but it's too hard. The green is too, that's the best word. It's hard.
Looks like opaque.
It sort of, it does. Even though you can see it's semi-opaque because that black was printed first. And you can see the same thing here in the yellow. It is. These are semi-opaque pigments. This is not real traditional pigment. There's opaque stuff mixed in there. This is late Meiji. They're playing with all kinds of different pigments by this time. The yellow too. Look at it, the yellow. Oh, not only is it the wrong color, it's opaque. Anyway, they're pleasant prints. A bit frustrating that they would go so far and get so close. And the thing I don't know myself is the printers who did this, did they know, or just these were men who maybe trained in an era where the old Edo prints weren't being studied anymore, and they just didn't know, or they did know and the boss told them, look, just do it like this. I don't know. I hope they didn't know, otherwise it would be endless frustration. If I gave prints to Kopoda-san and asked him to do this, he'd be like, no, I don't want to do it. Oh, that's bit. Look at this. This is a beginner at work here. Look at this. Hoo. Warning, beginner at work. Look at the gradation here on this boat. No way. This has been handed over to a deshi. Absolutely. Oh, come on. Back in this era, nobody is going to print this badly. This is a warning, apprentice at work. Someone else saying maybe they just had a bad model to copy from. I don't think so. By this era, there's still lots of Edo prints around at all. This is late Meiji. Originals are still all over the place. So I don't think so. I think they just had simply changed to a cheaper, faster way of doing things, And maybe they thought their market didn't know, or it was a modern era. We're looking at this here from a big distance. Back when these were made, late Meiji, it wasn't, from our point of view, it was a long time ago, old-fashioned era. In the late Meiji, they were modern people. They were looking at things with a modern viewpoint, and that old ukiyo-e with the funny old dull colors, they wanted to maybe make things cleaner and brighter and sharper. They were bringing a modern feeling to this. They were thinking, we can improve that stuff. Maybe, I don't know. From our point of view now, 1898 is a million years ago. In 1898, it was cutting edge. They were new, modern people. They didn't have access to the internet, to books, whatever. That was the way they did it.
Quite a strong red.
So the red, I mean, just ouch, ouch, itai, itai. Tell you what I'll do, we're out of time now. We had the same thing happen last week. I was trying to explain why something is no good, and people were saying, David, what do you mean no good? Show me a good example. So tell you what, I'll keep these prints on my desk right now. On Monday, we have a stream coming up on Monday. I will gather some nice ones, if I can find some, and we'll look at a comparison side by side. So next Monday's show and tell, we have more packages to open, but let's see if we can do that. Try and get a bit more depth on this one to show you what I'm talking about here. There we are. It's Saturday now. I'll be back here 2 more days. I won't be in Ome. I won't be in Fukui making paper or whatever. I'll be right here at this desk. Not sure what my job will be, but we'll find something. Let's put the outside camera up. Let's put the outside camera up. Nobody's staggering by now, just normal people coming by. There we are. Going to be a busy day, busy day, busy day. Thank you very much. I'll see you in a couple of days. Bye for now. Thank you. 3, 2, 1.